Okay, well, I'd like to welcome you to the weekly edition of Leads Are Not Enough. And in this edition, we're going to be talking about uh, revenue, the role of the Chief Revenue Officer versus the role of the Chief Marketing Officer. So I'd just like to give you a bit of background about who we are and what we do, and then we can answer any questions you may have at the end. So thanks for joining the call. And this week on the call with me, I've got James Walters. James is part of the Steam Power team. James actually runs the agency side of the business, and I'll ask him to talk about the marketing function later on. So James, thanks for joining me on the call. Appreciate you giving us the time.
Thank you.
And now we want to just give you an introduction about steam powered marketing, steam powered consulting. So we started in 2017, and we were a traditional digital marketing agency. We actually did the certification program with digital marketers. So we're a certified partner of DM. We are everybody on the team is a certified digital marketing strategist, and we've done pretty much all of their certifications and training. So that's how we started our life. We recently, I realized that what we were doing wasn't enough for our clients. Markets changed, the economy is changing, things are changing. And so I realized we needed to do more for our clients to help them maximize their revenue and grow their business. And the reason I came to this decision was we had a long-term client. We'd worked with this client for over 3 years, and we were engaged with them for lead generation for their business. They were working in a print business, and when we did the initial strategy and the initial assessment for them, we cautioned them that the print market was declining, that there was risk to their business, that they should be looking at other alternative product lines rather than just relying on printed cards. But over the 3 years that we had the engagement together, we were able to double the leads hitting their site every year. So we felt that from a marketing perspective, we've been successful. Unfortunately, this was outside of our remit, but unfortunately, although we were doubling the number of leads getting to the site, the number of sales they were making was declining year on year. And again, as I said, it's because they're in a traditional print business and they weren't adapting to the technology and where people were going. So after 3 years, it was not cost effective for this company to keep going, and they actually regrettably shuttered that part of the business. And so I thought, well, have we failed our client? We did what we were supposed to do. We were generating leads. We were helping them increase their revenue. Helping them increase their market presence and the number of people visiting the site. But unfortunately, that didn't translate into increased revenue. So I realized that just doing marketing and delivering people to a landing page or to a website is not the best way to serve the client. So I then, after this experience, I then started to look at how we could improve the service to our client base. And so I started to look at the role of the Chief Revenue Officer. And so now, since that experience, we have restructured Steam Power. So we now have the traditional marketing agency, Steam Power Marketing, which James runs. And we've set up a parallel organization called Steam Power Consulting, which is specifically designed at the RevOps, the role of the Chief Revenue Officer. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. So just so you know who we are and what our focus area is, we help engineering and technology company owners regain control of their life and revitalize their business in a matter of weeks by systematizing their revenue generation, optimizing processes to save time and maximize profit, and then helping them scale and accelerate their revenue using AI tools where appropriate. So that's our specialty, is helping the owners of small and medium-sized engineering and technology companies maximize their revenue and apply AI to grow their business. So anyway, on to today's topic. What is the difference between the CRO and the CMO, and what is the benefit to a business, and what is the right choice? Is there in fact a right choice for a business? So James, I've spoken plenty to start this presentation. So I'd like you to just run through. Can you tell us, as the head of the agency, of the marketing agency, what in your mind is the role and the function of the chief marketing officer?
Yeah, sounds good. So the CMO role, stands for Chief Marketing Officer, is quite a common term. You'll see it on a lot of people's business cards. You'll see it on their websites. So it's quite a common function that you'll see quite regularly now with the digital marketing world expanding and exploding. So the main functions of the Chief Marketing Officer is to develop and implement the marketing strategy and campaigns for a business. Before that, they need to conduct the marketing research, then they need to analyze and identify opportunities and trends in the market for that business to go after and attack. And then once they've done that, then they need to start building and managing the company's brand and reputation. That's through reviews, that's through testimonials, that's through whatever they need to do to keep building that positive presence. Then after they've done that, they need to create and execute digital marketing initiatives. So that's looking at the different trends, looking at what is the right technique, the right market, and then what is the right vehicle to get in front of the right prospect. Once they've done that and they've identified those markets, and they need to develop and then manage their marketing budgets. Instead of just throwing money at the problem, they need to identify what is the positive activities and positive vehicles that is going to actually be beneficial for the business and not drain their business. And then if you look at ads, you look at all those spends, is that just because you can put yourself there, if it's so expensive for a click, yeah, okay, you'll put yourself in front of a client, a possible client, but it can be so expensive that it's actually not cost effective. And then the last two things is that they need to build that maintain a relationship with their customers and their partners. And then once they've done that, and they have a systemized process in place for their marketing, then they need to measure and analyze the performance and their ROIs. That's basically the summary of the function of a CMO.
Okay, thanks for sharing that. So in a nutshell, the marketing role is to get potential new clients to visit your website and sign up and be in a position where you can try and turn them into a client. Okay, all right, that's good. So as I said at the beginning, we pivoted the business slightly to include the RevOps function. So what I'd like to do is just go through what I see as being the main functions of the CRO, the Chief Revenue Officer. I know we can discuss the differences and see if there's any benefits to a business from going one way or the other. So as a Chief Revenue Officer, the role is to identify and pursue new business opportunities and identify revenue streams. It's to develop and implement sales strategies and processes, and also to build and manage a high-performing sales team. And typically we hear that there is often in businesses conflict between the marketing group and the sales group. So as a CRO, building the sales team to complement the marketing group is an important function. And then also as a CRO, we're looking at market research to identify the customer needs and preferences with the objective of maximizing revenue. So as James mentioned, on the marketing side, you're looking for customer needs to create awareness and to find ways to contact with them. From the CRO, we're actually taking it to a next step. We're saying, how can we maximize this revenue from them so that we are bringing real value and actually bringing cash into the business? Obviously, if we are using partners as the CRO, as a member of the C team, you would be negotiating and setting up those partner arrangements. And then also we'd be looking at maximizing the relationship and the benefit of our stakeholder relationships. And in the CRO function, we're looking at much more than just getting the lead to the website or to the landing page. We actually want to think about the whole experience of the prospect, the lead, the conversion to becoming a client, and then maximizing the value of the client and creating the best possible client experience for them through the lifetime of the relationship with the client. And ultimately, everything today is analytics based. So we want to have good KPIs, good measurements to measure the overall performance of our lead generation, of our ad spend, of our budgets, so that we can see that not only are we spending money to create awareness and we create leads, but we're actually, the money we're spending is generating more revenue. So we're really concerned on the return on investment, the return on ad spend. So similar functions to the CMO, but the focus is much more about getting the cash into the business, not just getting leads to the front door. So that gives a sort of overview of what I see the role of the CRO is. So James, can you just go through and give us your idea as to the comparison and the differences between the two functions?
Yeah, as you said, obviously I started with looking at the functions and the roles of CMO. You then took over and talked about the CRO, and I'll just do a quick summary. So really the main differences between the Chief Marketing Officer and the Chief Revenue Officer is that the CMO or Chief Marketing Officer really focuses on developing the business marketing strategies, building the brand awareness, and creating an effective marketing campaign. In contrast, the CRO focuses on developing revenue strategies, then maximizing the customer acquisition and retention. And then also they're creating an effective sales strategy and tactics to drive revenue growth and profitability. That's pretty much the comparison between both.
Okay, thank you. So there is a difference in function, and obviously different businesses have different requirements. So one of the things that I think would be helpful for people on the call is to help them decide which is the best role for their business. Do they need a CMO, or would a CRO be a better role to bring into the business, depending on where they are on their entrepreneurial journey? So, James, can you tell us what would be the best sort of business, or what would be the state of a business that would be best served by a CMO as opposed to a CRO?
Sure. So for making the decision, if it makes sense to start with a CMO or Chief Marketing Officer, really is if a business is in the early stages, so they're needing to build that brand awareness and establish a strong reputation in the market, which is obviously extremely important these days. The next thing is really if it's a company in a high competitive market, needs to focus on building the brand awareness and the customer loyalty and differentiate the business from its competitors. The next thing that they should be looking at if you want to be making a decision is make sense for a CMO or CRO is that the company has a well-developed product or service but needs help marketing with the marketing and the sales. And then the last thing that they need to be looking at as well is if the company has a clear understanding of its target audience and wants to develop an effective marketing strategies to reach out to them. So just to summarize, it would be a business. It's best suited for business for the CMO function is when they need to focus on building that brand awareness, creating an effective marketing strategy and their campaigns, which establishes a strong reputation in their market. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So to flip the coin then and look at the other side. So this is where I believe the CRO role is a better fit for a business. So this is what I believe. If a business meets these criteria, they would be better served by a CRO as opposed to a CMO. So if a company's got a proven product or service and a well-established brand and now wants to scale its operations, then the CRO would be a better role than the CMO. If they've got a strong sales team but need leadership and strategy, especially when it comes to joining the dots between the marketing team and the sales team, because typically the CMO would have no authority or no connection to the sales team. So in that case, the CRO is the better function. If the business already has a high sales volume, so the lead gen and the initial conversion is not an issue, but we're now looking at profit maximization, and we want to increase revenue from our existing systems, then the CRO is obviously the better person for that function. And also, if the market is rapidly changing, obviously we're all aware it takes time to build a brand, it takes time to create awareness. But if you're in a rapidly changing market, if it's competitive, if you've got a lot of competitive pressure or downward price pressure, the CRO may be the better role because they can be more nimble and they can apply strategies to the business to maintain revenue and to grow profits. in a competitive and agile market. If the business already has a large customer base, we're not trying to create brand awareness. We're not trying to get people to know us, but what we are trying to do is to maximize the value of our customers. So when we're looking at average customer value and long-term customer retention, and this comes down to the customer experience, and CX typically falls very much in the CRO ballpark. And then finally, if it's a complex product or service, so the selling process is complicated, the CRO would be a better option, because even though the CMO can deliver a lead to the business, if it's a complicated selling process, you can lose the lead. You can have low conversion rates. So the CRO, who has responsibility to make sure that lead turns to revenue, would be a better function. So in summary, a business would be better suited with a CRO where the focus is on revenue growth, maximizing profitability, and then developing effective sales strategies and tactics. So that would be the suggestion for me. So again, there is no right or wrong answer here. You know, it's a business choice. In general terms, if you are new into the game and you need to create awareness, you need to get your initial flow of new clients, and we need to get people coming to you, then get your resource to focus on the marketing function. As James has said, the CMO role is the place to be. If you already have awareness, if you already have a stream of leads, and the issue is now revenue generation, profit maximization, then the CRO function is probably where you need to be looking at. Now, again, it's going to be a fairly big, fairly mature business that could afford to have two C-level people, two C-level positions, looking at this sales and marketing, this revenue operations, rev gen function. So again, what I would suggest is if you're in a smaller business, you may want to consider a hybrid role. So I would still call this role the CRO role, the Chief Revenue Officer. But the person that you bring in, whether it be a full-time, a part-time, or a fractional, the person that you bring in to help you with this function in the early stages, under their CRO hat, they would be focusing most of their effort on the marketing function, but also they've got a mind to the conversion phase and how we convert the lead into revenue and then maximize the revenue from that customer relationship. So rather than have disruption or overloading your C-suite, what you may want to consider is bring on a hybrid CRO whose initial focus is on establishing the marketing function, and then when that is up and running, then they turn their attention much more to the sales and revenue generation, profit maximization. So that's another option, but there's no absolute right or wrong answer. It's what is the fit for your business, depending on where your business is at, what your needs are, what your client base is telling you. But my recommendation is you need to, if you're going to grow and you're going to increase revenue and you're going to increase profitability, you do need to think more than the basic CMO function. Okay, as I said in the example earlier, delivering leads to a landing page or to a sales page is not the end all and be all of your business growth. You can't take leads to the bank. You've got to convert the leads to clients, and you've got to get those clients to give you money. And then once you've done all the hard work and the effort of building the relationship, making the sale, you want to maximize the value that you can bring to that client, give them maximum value, maximum service, and in return, you'll get maximum revenue from that relationship. So that's my recommendation. Now, we're going to be doing these events every week, every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central. And I just want to give you an idea of what's going to be coming up soon. So on the 17th of May, the topic is going to be get aggressive with your non-conformance. This has a huge impact on your profitability, and I'll give you some real world case studies from my experience in the corporate world. And then on the 24th, as I said, our core focus is on helping engineering and technology companies grow. And so we're part of a group called the Texas Engineering and Technology Network. And I want to introduce that network to you and give you an overview of the mission of the network to see if it would be something that could help you grow your business in the near future. And as always, it's a pleasure to be able to share value with you. It's a pleasure to be able to help people through these presentations. And if you have any questions or comments from what we've spoken about today, you can always get in touch with me. Just go to steampoweredconsulting.com/talk with David, and that will take you through to my calendar and my booking link. And you can obviously always find me on LinkedIn, connect with me. More than happy to accept the connection and then set up a call through LinkedIn. So I hope you found this presentation useful. Our goal is to keep these presentations very punchy, about the 20-minute mark, because time is a huge commitment for people nowadays. And then after the 20-minute mark, if there are any questions, we would love to field some questions. So I can't see any questions from today, so thanks for joining. Hopefully this was useful for you. There will be a recording which you'll be able to review later on. And as I said, if at any time in the future you have a question about CRO or CMO or any other issue of business growth and maximizing your profit, by all means, hit that link below, steampoweredconsulting.com/talk with David. Book a call with me, and I'm more than happy to have a chat to see if I can help you, with your thought processes to what you need to do to maximize the business. So, James, thanks for spending the time on this call. Appreciate you coming on the call.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll call it a day at that. And I'll be posting the recording and look forward to meeting you on a future presentation. So thanks, everyone. Been a great time.
Thank you.
Bye.